It all started on a bright Saturday morning. The kind of morning where the sun hits perfectly and everything seems calm. I was sipping my coffee, enjoying the soft rustle of leaves in my backyard when I noticed her Karen, the infamous HOA enforcer of our neighborhood. She marched up my driveway with her clipboard in hand, a look of righteous fury plastered across her face. I had seen her around before, but never like this. Never coming directly to my property like she owned the place. My gut sank. I immediately knew trouble was heading my way, and the sense of dread was almost tangible. Karen stopped in front of my tree, her eyes narrowing as if she could intimidate it into obedience. She didn't even bother with a greeting. Instead, she began rattling off rules and regulations as if reciting a sacred text. I tried to politely ask what she meant, but she cut me off mid-sentence. "Your tree is a hazard, and you need to remove it immediately," she barked. My jaw dropped. A hazard? My tree had stood there for over a decade, providing shade, beauty, and even nesting for birds. How could this suddenly be a problem? I felt my chest tighten, and a mix of anger and disbelief surged through me. I realized this wasn't just about a tree. It was about control, power, and fear. Karen had decided that morning that she was the ultimate authority in the neighborhood, and my tree had become the battleground. As I listened to her ultimatum, I couldn't help but notice the satisfaction in her eyes, the smug smile that told me she had done this before and expected obedience. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. There had to be a way to handle this without escalating into a full-blown confrontation. But deep down, I knew one thing. I wasn't going to let her intimidate me, no matter how many HOA rules she quoted. This tree was part of my home, my sanctuary, and I wasn't about to let Karen take that from me. The tension in the air was electric. Neighbors peeking from their windows, sensing the drama unfolding. Every word she said felt like an attack, every gesture a challenge. I could feel my pulse racing as I prepared to defend my tree. And more importantly, my rights. The day that started peacefully had quickly turned into a test of patience, courage, and strategy. Karen wasn't just visiting. She was delivering a threat. "You have 24 hours to remove the tree," she said, her tone icy and unwavering. My heart sank, and a wave of panic washed over me. 24 hours. This wasn't just inconvenient. It was impossible. The thought of losing my tree, the one I had nurtured for years, made my stomach churn. But it wasn't just about the tree, it was about the fear she tried to instill. She mentioned fines, penalties, and even legal actions. Every word was carefully chosen to make me feel powerless. I stood there, trying to gather my thoughts, but my mind was racing. Could she really enforce this? Was this the kind of overreach that people only read about in news stories? I remembered stories from neighbors about her previous encounters, tales of intimidation and manipulation. And now it was my turn. I felt a knot tighten in my chest as I imagined the worst-case scenarios. Losing my tree, facing fines, even legal battles. Karen's presence was suffocating. Her authority over the HOA and her confidence in enforcement made her seem unstoppable. She didn't just want me to comply. She wanted to dominate, to assert her power and make an example of anyone who dared resist. I felt cornered, but a small spark inside me refused to be extinguished. There had to be a way to fight back. As she turned to leave, I could sense her satisfaction, the smug assurance that she had won before the battle even started. But that was the exact moment I realized I wasn't going to let fear dictate my actions. Karen had underestimated one crucial thing: my willingness to stand up for what was right. That day, as the clock started ticking, I began to plan my moves. It wasn't going to be easy, but I refused to let her intimidation tactics succeed. My tree was more than wood and leaves. It was a symbol of resilience, and I wasn't about to let it fall to someone else's whim. What Karen didn't know was that I had already done my homework. I had spent nights researching city ordinances, HOA bylaws, and property rights. Every page I read reassured me. The city protected homeowners against arbitrary demands like hers. I discovered specific codes stating that unless a tree was a genuine hazard, no HOA could force removal. My heart raced with a mix of relief and excitement. I had a secret weapon, and it was stronger than any threat Karen could throw at me. I began drafting emails, taking photos of my tree, and documenting everything meticulously. Evidence was key. I couldn't just rely on laws. I needed proof that my tree was healthy, safe, and in full compliance. Meanwhile, I stayed calm and collected around Karen, knowing she had no idea I was preparing to counter her. It was a delicate dance, acting casual while building my defense behind the scenes. I even reached out to neighbors who had faced similar issues, collecting their stories and advice. The more I learned, the more confident I became. Karen might have thought she was in control, but the truth was, she had no idea the storm she had stirred. I felt empowered. Every rule she cited, every threat she made, I countered silently with my research. I knew that when the time came, I would not just defend my tree, I would win. There was a thrill in knowing I held the upper hand, even if she was oblivious. My secret backup plan wasn't about confrontation. It was about justice, about using knowledge and preparation to protect what was rightfully mine. And as the hours ticked by, I felt a growing sense of anticipation. Karen's arrogance had blinded her to the possibility that her victim could fight back. I couldn't wait for the moment she would find out she was wrong. Just when Karen thought she had all the power, the city intervened. I received a letter from the city zoning department stating that my tree was fully compliant and that the HOA had no authority to demand its removal. My heart leapt, and a wave of relief washed over me. The tables had turned. I quickly shared the letter with Karen, watching as her smug expression faltered. The authority she had wielded so confidently was suddenly gone, replaced by confusion, disbelief, and frustration. She tried to argue, to find loopholes, but every attempt fell flat against the city's clear and concise regulations. Neighbors watched the showdown with rapt attention, sensing the drama unfold in real time. Karen, the supposed enforcer of neighborhood rules, was now the one being checked. The irony was almost poetic. My research, preparation, and calm determination had paid off. The city's intervention wasn't just a victory for me, it was a public demonstration that arbitrary power could be challenged, that knowledge and patience could triumph over intimidation. I felt a rush of vindication. Karen, who had entered my yard with so much confidence, left with her authority shattered. My tree stood tall, untouched and proud, a symbol of resilience and justice. This unexpected twist highlighted a truth many forget. Sometimes the rules are on your side, and sometimes patience and preparation are more powerful than anger and aggression. Seeing Karen's face when she realized she couldn't enforce her demands was priceless. She had walked into my yard thinking she could bully and intimidate, but she walked out defeated, powerless, and humiliated. My neighbors cheered quietly, some even capturing the moment on video, relishing the rare spectacle of HOA authority being checked. I couldn't stop smiling as I looked at my tree, its leaves shimmering in the sunlight, oblivious to the drama it had caused. Victory wasn't just about keeping the tree. It was about standing up for what was right, proving that courage, preparation, and knowledge could overcome even the most arrogant opposition. Karen's reaction was a lesson in humility, a reminder that power is only as strong as its foundation, and she had built hers on fear and assumptions. Meanwhile, I felt a deep sense of satisfaction and relief. The city had done its part, and I had done mine. My backyard was peaceful again, the soft rustle of leaves once more a soothing soundtrack to my life. And as I sipped my coffee, I couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of it all. A tree had sparked a dramatic showdown. And in the end, justice prevailed. Karen had underestimated me, underestimated the law, and underestimated the community's support for fairness. That day, I learned that standing up for what you believe in is never wasted. And that sometimes, the smallest victories like saving a single tree can feel like the sweetest triumphs.